Now, had you actually looted the treasury, there would have been much more money, but
we parlayed.
So
we weren't going to loot that.
But saving Bearcat's friend mattered most.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, the guy did like 11d6 damage on his first shot. Maybe fighting that guy wasn't going to be the best way to go.
No, I mean the Spirit Naga. They did a lightning bolt. That's what it did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that guy was reasonable, and the guys he was controlling were doing non-violent damage. It's like, we don't have to fight this guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It made perfect sense. I'm not.
Speaking of which, I guess we have to sell the jewelry.
Yes.
Which we can do now.
Yeah.
So I might be a very useful individual for that.
I am also very good at things like that.
I would like to just go ahead and add the number of the treasury right now. How much is that in total, then? Since we split 700 and 700, or is it 700 total?
Well, it's 750 max, 550 minimum. But we have good charisma characters.
You both took half of it, so it is a total number. You just both are carrying half of it.
Yeah.
Okay, then. In that case, let's go ahead and see how much money we can get out of it first.
What is your persuasion, Bearcat?
16 minimum. I have a +6.
I have a +7.
I can help and inspire you.
Yep. Does that work?
We don't have a minimum of 16 if we do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your minimum is 16.
Yeah, because I have the minimum 10 ability from my subclass.
My vote is that we take the risk that we get higher than a 10. But if it's just a 1, I say we go with Bearcat. But that inspiration's a big deal.
I mean, I can also just roll higher than a 10.
Can I ask a question before we actually make a roll? Where are you getting the money from?
I imagine we're just selling it, like...
to our own people?
Given that these are expensive items, probably shipping them to Greyhawk to be sold.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we just consider their value and keep it in our own treasury?
That's functionally equivalent.
Right,
ultimately, the goal here is to put a number in the treasury.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if we already have it in a number that the GM gave us, is that not the number?
Well, it's because the number was given variably.
Yeah, we
want to pin it down.
Not a number.
Mm-hmm. So this is the attempt to pin down the number.
Of course, Marcus can also help me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Into getting
Marcus will gladly help you, and I will also use the fact that I'm a noble to do that with position of privilege if it does affect it.
All right, well, we can sell it to rich people in Greyhawk.
Yes.
Who are even richer than the previous rich people.
Hey.
That's a lot of rich
so
people.
persuasion, I assume?
Yes.
Cool. Make sure I'm on advantage.
17.
Right, 17.
Yeah, you get the full amount, 1,500.
Sick.
Yeah, you gotta. If you roll even higher, you could get more money, but you got full amount. Basically, you talk to Grolin, who has a lot of extensive business connections, and he says, that he will, handle the sale, transportation of sale.
So we got 1,500 total. I was gonna just have some of it to put into the project.
Yes.
202.
I mean, you basically have the wood, you have the thing that can be made into the strings. Just a matter of making the rolls.
Yeah,
And,
I also have like half the required cost, I guess.
Yes.
But with time, it should be fine.
And I, for one, have no problem with you taking what you need.
Oh, it's like 1,000 or something.
Yeah,
I still have no problem.
Halfway.
Actually, I guess also important is we also switched books, didn't we?
Yes.
I vaguely remember that, and I'm also now confused on the system, so I'm just gonna trust other people's words.
The
and I'm just gonna
strongholds.
modify the money.
The Strongholds book is the only one that contains the book information about strongholds. The Kingdoms and Warfare is the only one with the combat system that we're currently using. So you got to kind of
Combat.
divide up the rules in half.
Yeah. Well, it gets you combat and
That's not
intrigue. So it's a politics and the
Right. The diplomatic
Yeah.
and intrigue and the combat systems that we now use are in Kingdoms and Warfare. Also, the military units that we now have are the Kingdom and Warfare one. But the strongholds and the stronghold systems and everything that does is all in the old book. So
Mhm.
basically, only a small portion of the old book is what we're still using for that, and everything else is the updated new stuff.
yeah, you build it up with the strongholds and followers,
Yeah.
and then you use it under the when you put it on the field, so to speak. It's with the Kingdoms of Warfare.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna start the process of building a thing.
Giant
How
trombone.
much is it?
It's okay. So the total cost because I have the the wood and the vocal cords and whatever. So the total cost after that is 2,000. I
Okay,
have 926.
If that is the case,
So I need
um,
about 1,080.
Okay.
I only
so,
have 25 on me, so that I can't.
Yeah.
Can't
Consider
throw.
it paid then, and that's good. So take what you need, and then for the season, we also get income. So I'm adding that in now.
And that also means that I don't have to put it on like layaway
Put it
like
on
you're
the
supposed
card.
to. Just putting it all initial, and that will technically go over time.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where to put down anything here, but I guess I'll put like establishment
So
and win complete.
okay, so
That's an
treasury.
extra 1,000 gold.
Well, wait a minute. This is for
Per
not for the
season.
establishment. This is for
This is for
Yeah.
the instrument.
this
Yeah.
one,
Oh.
yes.
Oh, this is for a personal instrument. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
harpy
that
vocal
was for
cords.
abilities.
Harpy vocal cords not necessary for the building of an establishment.
Yeah, not necessary for constructing a wooden structure. As it
Well,
turns
maybe
out.
you wanted to make a big wooden harpy organ. I don't know.
It's really important for
God.
the acoustics of the building.
Yeah, man, the acoustics.
Look, all I'm saying is I've been waiting like 30 sessions for my plate mail armor to come in. It's gonna happen one of these days, and I'll be in the same position.
I mean,
Mine isn't
It's
actually going to
gonna-
take that long. It's going to take like 2 weeks, I
at the
think.
very least,
Yeah.
you're not making it yourself. Somebody's making it in the background, so at least time is moving forwards on that.
Exactly.
And it's gonna be made out of mithril apparently now.
No, that was the Star Metal one, wasn't it?
Oh, the star metal! I forgot about that.
Yeah, unless you
Yeah.
want to start the counter over and make it out of mithril now.
When we started that in the summer, right? And
It's
we're
been
now,
38 weeks.
you know. So
I've been meticulously keeping track. It's actually kind of closer to like spring or something.
yeah.
Oh, I guess I should also.
2/3 of a year is about right.
What's a dagger worth?
A dagger?
it's-
It's like
Yeah,
1
because we
gold
got
each.
we got a bunch of. No, they're 2 gold. So I'm just gonna fence a bunch of daggers that we got.
It's funny. 'cause
Oh,
I remember I
yeah.
talked to you about it, Griff, and I put it on the calendar of when it's supposed to finish.
Yeah.
Cold Even the 9th.
There we go. Looking forward to it. And that's like 52 weeks is I think what it was supposed to be.
I don't remember. I
50.
specifically asked you how long and when you started it, and that's I just counted through the calendar. So I put it
Yeah,
on the
at
calendar.
least one of us remembers what the total's supposed to be.
At the very least, it's completely independent of the count that I have going on so far.
Yeah.
After this session's over, I'm just gonna go back through the VODs and I'm just gonna rewatch 30 hours worth of VODs, and I'm gonna give you a
Well-
countdown.
You can mark 2 weeks from now
That's a lot.
if you want to now.
Well, the problem is that we have to agree what 2 weeks from now actually is, which means I'm still gonna have to go back to the VODs. We'll just remember
14
Yeah.
days-
2 weeks
14
after.
days from right now.
Right,
from this
right, but
day.
we are currently in debate of when right now
Yeah.
is, which is why I'm saying I'll do that after I go back through the VODs again.
Right. We'll get there. I
Whatever
assume.
today is.
If we're looking at the stronghold, the Warlock's Fane isn't the greatest for the Warlock build that I have.
That's
So it's
unfortunate.
low on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, I had gone through before, and I posted in the chat somewhere what the greatest of the class ability structures were, and I can't remember what they are now. Because some of them are just funny, but some of them are literally people can't sneak through your territory or things like that. So
Yeah, so class ability, I can get invocations as if I was 5 levels higher, but the amount of them I can use it on is limited by the level of our kingdom.
which is one.
So I'll get one that's higher, but that won't really affect me until I get my next one.
Yep.
Beyond that, the stronghold actions aren't there's one that's spell slot recovery, fire Eldritch Blast to every enemy within 60 feet, which I don't have the spell, so it's not in flavor. And then summon a type summon a type 5 or 6 servitor.
The monks one, people age more slowly, so our people would live longer. And the other one is violence of any kind as a 15% chance of summoning in a source of earth, an earth elemental, I guess, that uses back to earth to end the violence. So, built-in
Yeah,
cops.
I'm assuming the monks one. I wasn't planning on building anything for Lael because he kind of is like, I got my hut in the woods, that type of thing.
It could just
So,
be expanding the hut in the woods.
I guess they could
Yeah.
do that.
No more plants for the Druid's Grove, obviously, so...
Yeah.
We already
Additionally,
said
I'm
what
trying
the
to
Bard one does.
Yeah. Additionally, trying to figure out how much the establishment will cost. I think it's 6,000. I'm looking at it. I don't think there were any other mitigating factors from its initial actual costs, unless adding on the new thing was costly.
There
I
was
don't remember.
additional cost if you're adding on top of how many you have, I believe.
Do you remember
Yeah.
how much?
No.
No, we
All
had
right.
talked
Well,
about it
base
before.
is 6,000, and then more from there. Got it. In reference, we're at 1,400. We need a big gold pile.
Yeah, the problem is that at the end of the day, we're adventurers still, so we need to
I can give.
fight a
I can
dragon
give
or
you
something.
all.
Yeah.
I can
Are
give you
still
all the
adventurous.
gold I have, which is 105. But that's about it.
Not quite enough, unfortunately. Keep it.
Well, if we want to start to build this up, why don't we figure out how we're going to reintroduce me back into the political elements of Greyhawk and then start that process if we're back, because we could use it as a play to show the greatness of your and the greatness and the value of your position as Baron.
I think that's good. Barakat, I think
Essentially,
you'd probably be best suited to this, wouldn't you?
You could go to Greyhawk and hand in hand and say, "Who wants to invest in the frontier?" That's something that could happen.
Yeah.
Remember, you already have an offer to somebody from Divers, but that was a bit iffy.
Yeah.
I also want
If
to
we
say,
do go to Greyhawk, I must check in on my sister.
Mhm.
I do want to say, Justin, when you were pointing out that the Fane stuff, the Warlock's Fane, really wouldn't help.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 of them wouldn't. 2 of them would really scare a lot of people. That third one, though, would be awesome.
See, the thing is, if you look at the stuff that it brings, it would have to be adjusted based off of my patron, because that's all super evil and dark. I'm not an evil dark warlock.
You tell how you flavor it. The sun turned blue in dark in the sky. I don't know. Still, that whole you're all instantly aware of enemies in the territory is that's pretty good.
True.
Maybe the
It's just not
earthquake,
top of
not
the
so
list.
much,
The bomb the
but
lake.
Well, I suppose I could do the investigating for you.
I'm fine with doing the investigation. Like, and the thing is, I just need to know who she is connected to now. I don't need to have it be a big secret thing. Once I have that, I can reintroduce myself after, of course, I get some better clothes and things like that. But
I know Bearcat knows a guy who can get you new clothes.
wonderful.
You know a guy.
Well, okay.
Well,
So we're in an
technically-
interesting position because this would require a short hop and a skip over to Greyhawk,
yeah.
and talk to people and maybe
Right.
get an adventure here and there as well. Who knows?
This is ultimately what their winter season will be, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. And there's some other
Makes
stuff that
sense.
happens. So, but here, yeah, we really need to figure out the time because we have a big discrepancy between.
You know,
And I think
ironically,
that
you're saying there's a big discrepancy, but the seasons still fall within where you're talking about. So,
oh, okay. Well,
Seems-
no, if we're in the right season because of the 10
well,
of
because
those short
we
months.
we definitely know when we left. That is the definite point. We are actually now in autumn right now. Winter is just coming up, so we are actually short of you wanting it to be winter, but we're in autumn.
Oh, so we're in the tail end of autumn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Right, but if you're saying there's too much time on our portal adventure, then we might actually be closer to summer.
Yeah, that's
So-
the thing. I said when you said, I thought like all those weeks that you were putting me like at least in spring. It's like,
No, we
I'm
literally
more-
left. We left in midsummer, so all that
no,
time.
no. That's the thing. You're wrong because remember there was a festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And that
we
festival
left.
wasn't in summer. That festival is in the fall.
We left in Richfest, God's Day the 4th, midsummer, during Sea Lord's Feast. That's when Luna and Celine were both in full moon.
No, remember that that's the thing. Okay. Remember summer was when you were fighting in the arena at the equinox.
You know what? Hold on a sec. We talked about
Remember.
this in
fact, I described that they were
Discord.
pumpkins, and I'll show you the map.
No,
that
hold
I
on. I'm
even
talking
used.
about. We talked about this in Discord before, so I should be able to look up by dates.
What
Did
on the
I?
calendar is the Halloween? Because that was before we left.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
Literally, you
I've marked every day specifically and verified, so the date itself should be right, even if I'm getting the date that we left wrong. So
Okay.
hold on. I've talked about moons with you before so many times, Lesson. So I just do a search
Yes,
on
that's true.
moon.
I couldn't make the mistake of giving you the wrong date.
Yeah, specifically, I
Ah.
remember you sent me the date. Let's see. Here's your 7 times the portal can be open post.
Because you guys left after the festival that was in the it was harvest actually. And after harvest, it was harvest festival. And I think you left a week after that.
Let's see. I started the calendar on the 1st of Patchwall. That's the date you gave me. You told me that 7/16/2021. And then the last equinox was 165 days away from that date, and you said darn. Then you told me the next full eclipse after that would be the date it would open. So what's the first full eclipse after Patchwall? Because Patchwall is, by the way, right before. Oh, that's right, because we went that and we actually went through almost a full year since the first of Patchwall. Because we did downtime since the start of the calendar.
The Richfest is the midsummer, but let me see the calendar. You were in Brewfest, so you should have been at least
Let's see.
in Patchwall.
Cold
in
Even, the
autumn.
18th is when I told you the next Moongate opening would be. I don't. Let's see. You said Readyreat second Sunday? So I don't know how to say the month names sometimes.
Yeah, the season, if you will, is called Brewfest, which has three months: Patchwall, Readyreat, and some Seb.
No, I'm just going
in
by what
com.
you specifically told me day wise. That's why I'm
Yeah.
going back over. Let's see. You said
Yeah.
Readyreat the second. That's it's no Sunday too. Yeah, that's not even a thing. I mean, it's a thing, but okay. This must be from the next time it opens.
Otherwise, we just discontinued the whole calendar.
Well, we've already
Oh,
spent
boy.
almost over a year in the calendar playing, so
Actually, no, I think the year didn't actually end yet. That's the whole thing, that the year has ended. Well, it has ended because the winters. It's the next year. That's yeah.
okay. If this is right, then you created an event on Readyreat, which again I don't know if I'm saying it right. The second, and that we spent only 2 weeks in the board. Well, that can't be right though.
Readyreat is the one. Yeah, which is the 11th month.
Oh, I don't know if that's actually the day we left though. That was just me asking you to tell me when the eclipses were, because otherwise I wouldn't know when the moon gates are open. And then you said, we'll do Readyreat autumn Sunday the 2nd.
So yeah, it was in autumn. So you're early. You basically should be in early. That works, by the way. The underlight, I like the underlight layer. You should be at least in which is called Need Feast, which is Fire Seek. Need Fest is the feast day festival week of Need makes the beginning of the new year in the domain of Greyhawk. This is period. Yeah, so you haven't passed Need Fest, but Need Fest is essentially.
I'm still saying that, to my count, we are still currently on Readyreat the 18th. That is the current date. I mean, past the 2 weeks if we're just fast forwarding to get the instrument made. If that was true, then we're in Senseb Winter, the 4th.
You're in winter. Yeah.
Which is another new moon. My problem is that I talked to you so many times about how it would take us half a year to get back if we were just doing eclipses.
That's why this time around you didn't need an eclipse.
So now that we have the date determined, during the 2 weeks that it would have taken for working on the instrument, could I have checked the lake?
Oh yeah.
For like what's on the bed, searching for locations, seeing if there's signs of signs of intelligent life, things like that.
This particular lake doesn't have you find several species of giant pike and giant otters. It's a freshwater lake.
Oh yeah.
But intelligent life, as you know it, no.
Okay.
But you have high observation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you do find among the weeds and the mud because basically it's as you go into the lake, most of it is like as there's weeds and especially around here has a lot of geese and ducks in this season as they migrate north. And the last few of them migrate north, and there's a little bit of ice that forms, and in the mud you do see tracks, small tracks. And you recognize these tracks because you're familiar with them. They're goblin tracks or creatures of similar size.
Okay. I'll follow them a bit to see where they lead, but I won't go too far.
Yeah, they just seems to be basically going back and forth, and you realize that these are probably small patrols in the area. Getting close to the keep, but not close enough to be spotted from the keep.
I report that back.
Okay, you reported that back.
I report it back just so we are fully aware.
Wait, there's stuff living in the lake?
Oh, of course there is. There's fish and otters, which are lovely to play with. They're wonderful fun. But no, there was some goblin tracks as well. Looked like patrols getting close, but not too
Oh.
close. Keep.
Oh, just around the lake. Oh, okay. Understood.
Yes. I also found a lovely cave that could be much more could be done with.
We'll just like stop and think about that for a little. It's like, okay, cave, yeah. There we go.
It would also be difficult to get to because it's about how deep is how deep is the lake at its deepest? Just general range.
40 feet, 50 feet at most. It is
Okay.
relatively shallow. Large body
Okay.
of water, but not, we're not talking about Loch Ness here.
It's about 50, it's about 40-ish feet down that the entrance starts, so it's not an obvious site for other individuals. Might be a nice location for me to sort of develop and go to in any time.
Well, no one's going to scout out the center of the lake. I can be pretty sure of that.
I did.
You might be the exception.
Yes.
You and the plesiosaur that lives there. That's it.
Hey, if there's a plesiosaur in there, I'm cool with that. We'll be homies.
They play loud music in the middle of the night. They're terrible friends.
Damn,
That's
bro.
your that's your roommate now, isn't it?
You know what? He's there for you when it counts, though. So it's all good.
I actually have a question. Could I sleep underwater?
Do you have gills?
No, but I can.
If it's a matter of holding your breath even for a very long time.
No, it's not holding your breath. I can breathe underwater.
Is it a permanent gift?
Yeah.
And then you have potentially gills, so yeah, you breathe underwater. You could sleep underwater.
Yeah, you're a freaking fish person. It works.
However,
think
any and all equipment that you have with you does not get the benefit of.
True.
So if you have anything that's metal, for example, or leather,
Yeah.
like clothing or clothing, yeah, eventually will rot away.
Cool.
So you wouldn't have a problem sleeping there, but
Noted. I will. I will see what I can do about that in the future.
Mariner armor time. Well, there's several magical items that can be used for that.
I don't even need the mariner armor. I have a swim speed.
I'm just
I
suggesting
just
it as a silly, like, I wouldn't,
I
right?
just need magical.
Your book of the tome. Your warlock of the tome, right?
Yes.
Okay, so otherwise, good magical trident or something would fit you, but yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I am not a pact of the blade or hexblade.
Yeah.
I could still use a magical trident. I just wouldn't be good with it. Well, since the seasons are changing, what is the plan?
Well,
How
I'm
do you-
off from this conversation.
Well, I believe you were interested in going to Greyhawk, and I was suggesting Bearcat maybe we could go with you.
Well, I don't see the point of us staying here once we have things in motion.
Right, exactly.
Set affairs. I do need to go get some new clothes, check in on what's happened with my family's estate, check in with my sister. I also have someone else I want to look in on too, but that one I want to leave as a surprise.
Of course. You have plenty of things to do.
And then there's going to be the questions and the paperwork, and it will be so much fun.
I miss a good bit of paperwork. But with my prime scout now, well, on a different island in the middle of the ocean, it might have to be down to me. Yes. One of my scouts, Hugh, a good friend of mine, has decided to stay behind on the island we came from.
Strong name.
So, at present, I think I may have to take up his stance, and I'll be patrolling the area during the winter, trying to ward off any advances by other scouts and keep the area safe.
I have actually a question about why are you scouting? Don't you know what a baron is?
That I do.
But you don't. You see, as a baron, you tell people what to do, and they do it.
Well, there's only a few people I can trust to give commands to. I'm very
All
short
right.
on those particular hands.
So how about this?
Currently, I believe leading things. I used to have a general who was leading. He died. And of course, as I mentioned, Hugh is gone now.
So find a replacement.
Well, that's on the table. I don't suppose you have additional training in military and scouting? I guess you did survive on the island for ages.
Yes, but that was by me being stealthy. I'm more of a people person and noticing around me. So scouting would work, but getting out of there wouldn't. I only survived because of my abilities, not because I'm good at it.
Right. Still, the troops need to be rallied and they need to be put into motion, and someone must do it.
Rallying them I can easily do. Even if I think they're going to all horribly die, I can easily rally them and probably not show that I think they're going to fall.
Well, I'd hope not, but ultimately they do need someone in command in giving them orders. And if others
you
are
already
going to
have
go
a
off to do their
diplomat,
duties during the winter, then it is up to me.
well, of course, 100%. I'm just saying. I'm just speaking more long term.
I suppose if you do go to Greyhawk and you happen to spy a general for hire, you could always reference him over to here. I'm not sure there's any on our current NPC list that actually fit like the bill for this duty.
I mean, there's no one with
For a-
military experience.
For a general, we have
There
a
is one,
paladin.
actually. Well, no, there is one, remember.
The paladin.
There's the retired guy, yeah.
Yeah,
but-
the retired guy who's currently running the farm.
Mhm.
The paladin
not-
doesn't have a military
But
experience,
I want him running the farm because I want money.
so she is of it.
Well, the problem is that her martial training comes from the church,
Yeah.
not from
Well-
the military.
If it's suitable, I can see if there's
Let's-
any family connections and anyone who may want to reassert themselves in the
Did
the military
Did she bring
structure?
her? Did she bring the military unit that she mentioned that that would come with her?
I believe
that-
that we were like pushing her back because the possibility existed that me and her could throw down. Especially after the confrontation we had in the catacombs.
The
Yeah,
whole
but she doesn't. She actually doesn't remember that because she was under control.
Yes,
of
but
the
at any
thing.
moment she could literally detect everything
Yeah.
going on around her.
But yeah, actually, maybe escalating Nibblehand to our current general or military leader would probably be good.
Yeah,
All
she
right,
would be
Kix
the
wants
captain.
to die. I got it.
Captain, there we go.
Yes,
Close
because
enough,
if
right?
she
No idea.
if she knows how to fight and she is charismatic, then that is what makes a captain.
Assigned to captain, there we go.
I understand the political workings, but I was never a military strategist. My father was, but he taught me how to be a
already assigned
merchant.
to captain. Yeah, I have it in the stronghold stats.
Oh,
Any only hand cavalier paladin. She's a cavalier, assigned to captain. Yeah.
there we go. So we've already done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I was
Hey,
I
we-
was
we
being
solved the
trained as a
problem ahead
young
of
man
time.
to be a businessman. I was not being trained to lead men. I could do it, but
Right. I would say
I'll
stick to
step into-
business for now.
not a problem. Not a problem.
You know what you can do best, and well, maybe it's best if you get reacquainted with it.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying to
look
find
forward
though,
to it.
where are the notes for the forces? Because I actually let you a player sheet so you can
Yeah.
track your forces.
Yeah, there's like some stronghold forces sheets, but that may have been the old ones.
Y'all
I don't
made
remember
them,
anymore.
and then I made the cards, and I posted the cards in the chat. And then the
Yeah.
cards got negated by us upgrading to Kingdoms and Warfare, which changed us to entirely different cards, which we spent 30 to 45 minutes deciding which ones we wanted, and Griff was specifically
remember
calling
that.
them out. So,
We have our stronghold forces under player notes and trackers.
Yeah.
right, but are
I
those
don't
the
know if
old
those are
ones or the new
accurate.
ones?
The old ones.
Right, and then well, I guess I'll do this when I go back to the VODs.
Oh no, these
Because-
are all size 1d4, so these are the new ones actually.
Okay.
Regular medium
Reasonably
infantry,
certain.
the Black Wolves, which have 2 mentions, and the seasoned medium infantry that kicks.
Right, because specifically in Kingdoms and Warfare, I don't think there was any seasoned. I think we all got just regular choice of 4 regulars.
Maybe.
With
Well,
the
we'll have to
option
explore that for later.
with the
again.
option to do 2 peasants.
Yeah,
Alright.
because we chose like 1 archer unit, 1 cav unit, and then dudes.
It's all in recordings.
All right. So I guess I'll have to ask, Lael, what are you going to be doing with your time during the winter?
Usually, what I would be doing with my time right now would be trying to stay warm.
Well, I meant
But,
more particularly. I think actually Theta suggested performing sacred rites / religious services.
I'm not really that religious. I don't know how much I can do that for you.
Oh, okay.
Would you wish to
Not
train the
that-
men?
Not that kind of monk.
Well, no, they were
No, no.
services are for other people. You can do rites for yourself and everything. Those were specifically the downtime things to get your god's attention that you were trying to do before.
Well, I mean, I guess I could do that off the side, but like my god's kind of a funky god, so
Mhm.
it's a little difficult to
Instantly, I'm thinking of him as Mick Foley.
yeah.
Dude
Sorry.
love.
Mhm.
I know. I don't know why I said funky there. No, in all seriousness though, I legitimately don't know what you want me to do. Because normally Lael would be like, God, just go back to being himself, being by himself and all that kind of stuff. So until you need me again.
Ah, right. Well,
It's very weird. Lael is like, if you need me to go on a mission, if you need help with something, let him know. Otherwise, he's just gonna be on his own. So
right. So you're just simply taking it easy. And then Gar, what about you?
Well, for 1 week, I take an extended rest to refresh my key powers, which means I
That's-
just relaxing and chilling.
Yo,
And for
I'm
the
gonna
next
make
week,
sure I handle that too. Boop, there we go. Bam.
yeah, for the next week, I'm either gonna read a book or do research. Hey, lessons. You remember that temptation that we both have? I'm gonna
Ooh.
assume that was a head nod. I can't tell.
Yeah. So what's it about?
That temptation that we both have. Can I do research about that
Yeah, you can do research on that.
to try and find it or clues about where it may be?
Okay.
What do I need to roll? 1 week's worth of research.
Oh, we got canon.
Hold on.
Sorry, I'm thinking about other things. You got to refresh my memory on the.
You remember how we're
temptation?
both gamblers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I at least want to. I'm trying to share it out in the open while still having it be a fun little thing to reveal if I ever find it.
Speaking in code couldn't be me.
How many slot machines do we have downstairs now?
Okay.
At least 3.
I'm allured by the temptation of it, and you said that you were allured by the temptation of it.
Oh, okay. Right now, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh, you know what it is. I mean, there could only be so many
Oh.
things, lessons.
He clearly doesn't though.
Right
Send a
now,
private message.
Yeah, please
Say-
remind me.
Yeah, just
DM
send him
him.
a private
Oh,
message.
okay. Well, I was
Okay.
really hoping you'd get the hint there, but okay.
Yeah.
While you do that, is it possible for me to pray to Xian Jie and all that stuff?
Yes.
There you go.
and I can do that whole week thing to
Ah,
try and
okay,
get
yeah.
contact with them.
Yeah, there's two ways to do that. One of them, of course, is like any other items. You can commission one, but it's very rare. Or you do know about certain people who. I mean, the thing is that there's a history of the deck passing the device passing from hand to hand.
You know, I tried to clue to you. I said there's so many things, and you've used the word deck already. I don't think it's a hint anymore. I think we can just get it out there. I'm looking for the deck of many things.
Yeah, it's considered by some as a cursed item that eventually almost always kills its kills its users at some point. Because even if they get something good, they will keep drawing until eventually they get something bad.
Yep.
So the idea is to say find the last person who died of a very horrible way that fits the descriptions, because you have the description of what the deck does. With that role, you have no problem with knowing it. The key is
I have
finding
a physical copy.
Yeah, finding someone who fits the who matches the shall we say the way they would have died in the most horrible way possible.
Well, I mean, yeah,
with-
it's find the person who suddenly had a keep appear out of nowhere, but then became a mindless automaton. Or, you know, this guy suddenly started doing things well beyond his ability, but then a demon came and killed him. You
This
know?
guy suddenly started to own a keep literally out of nowhere. How weird. Wait, Kix's on that list.
Creepy.
Now around here, because the population is very
Lord.
small, you don't hear any rumors. But you do know a place where there's a lot of gamblers and a lot of magic, if you know where to look. And that's the city of Greyhawk.
So yeah, that's my
There
2
you
weeks.
go.
My 2 weeks. Extended rest, research.
All right. In that case, after I assign Nibblehand to go ahead and rally to the border, keep an eye out for scouts, and get everything in motion, Ikram came back with us. He's staying at the keep, isn't he?
He's vibing.
I need to talk with him a lot about this triangular business and everything he knows, and I will pay attention very studiously to the possibilities of these threats.
By the way, Ephraim in these 2 weeks has been studying the keep, taking notes. You know that he not only is a bard, but he also sees himself as primarily as a historian. And like many bards do. And he basically asking over the 2 weeks to basically barricade. It's like, my friends, and you know that he's changed his tone, right? Before, of course, he was the teacher. And while he was always friendly to you, he, there was that differential, expected differential treatment, but now he treats you more like an equal, right? Even though he still
Right.
probably has some knowledge beyond, but of course you saved his life. You were able to do something he could not. And says, my friend, this is a very interesting place that you find yourself in.
Yeah, it is.
At the edge of the frontier. I believe that places like this don't survive too long.
Our predecessor certainly didn't.
But it would make for a very interesting story if I were to catch it.
Well, I do look to outdo them.
So, unless my friend Barakat here is already taking your position, perhaps you require someone of my, at least for a season or so, to be here and observe, record, and perhaps entertain as well. I owe you my life, and I believe this is the best way to repay it.
I'd appreciate it, and you're always welcome to stay. But You were doing research back on that island, and I'm very curious about it. Perhaps you didn't hear, maybe because you'd been on the island for some time, but there had been some occurrences here in Greyhawk that had caused some concerns. There was an attack at the arena by a vile cult, and then they continued to have expeditions out at sea. And I believe it all connects together back to this triangulus. I'm going to give you these notes here. This is a file I've composed of all that we've done so far. Perhaps some of it relates to what you've learned, and maybe we can work together to make sure that these terrible threats that seem to keep popping up and threatening to destroy people, property, and perhaps existence do not come to happen.
He looks at them very carefully, like interesting. In my research, the Dark Lord of the of entropy likes to take the guise of other deities, demon lords and the like. He likes to take cover behind other cults, and this triad seems to be one of those things that he wants to do. And if they were looking for the hand of the other folks together to the tied to the Lord of Secrets, it wouldn't be surprising that they're looking for that. Always a way to break the prison in which the Lord of Entropy has been trapped for many eons, from before the time itself. I came by for a group. Now most of them are dead. Who has been, shall we say, trying to, well, defeat these forces. Like I said, I came by it because the Suel, at least those who follow the wicked ways of the ancient past of the Imperium, have always been enemies, not only of myself, but all humanity.
It is true.
I have a lord, if you will, someone that I've pledged myself to. And you might recognize his name or not. The name is Al-Hamasa the Wise.
And I guess I'll have to ask, does Kix actually recognize that name?
Not unless you're training history.
I am.
Or, well, you roll.
Okay, let's give it a go. Kix uses his brain, activates all 6 neurons, and they work.
Oh,
Yeah, 21.
All
He's
6
paying
firing
attention.
together.
Yeah, Al-Hamasa is being rumored to be linked to a secretive circle of mages known as the Circle of Eight. When you include some of those powerful mages and archmages of all the Flanes. And that they are known to interfere in the affairs of nations and peoples from time to time. And they believe, or at least their leader does, and nobody knows who their exact leader is, but that their leader believes in what he calls proactive balance or aggressive neutrality. That no nation and no group should have more power than any other. And if they do, well, it is their job to make sure that the balance is redressed.
An interesting take. But yet he's also involved in all this triangular business too, isn't he?
He set me on the path to find the enemies of my people. He also put me in contact with other members of my group. Eventually, we tracked an agent of the Black Brotherhood that was in he went as far west as Ket. And from there, we traced him to Greyhawk. And we discovered that they were trying to find that they were, in fact, all members of this Black Brotherhood. And they were trying to find powerful artifacts, including the Triangulus.
Hmm.
We basically discovered that they were also looking for moon gates. So when we follow them to the moon gate, well, I think you can understand what happens next.
I see. And thus began your journey on the island.
Yes.
Still, if they are against the same forces that we are both against, and you are already in contact with them to some way, we're beset by more than simply the orcs to the south. I think these dark forces are integral to this reason. Time and again, each season, something happens. And I simply worry what might happen next.
I have known in my research that the Scarlet Brotherhood is trying very, very hard to forge alliances with the orcs of the Pomarch. But I also heard rumors after a certain event, recent event, that about a year ago, the destruction of the eruption of a volcano to the south, that seemed to have somehow disrupted the politics of the Pomarch. I mean, to be honest, we're dealing with the barbaric creatures who normally would just be spending as much time fighting each other as fighting anyone else. Perhaps one of the boons that we have survived for so long, at least humanity, I mean. However, the fact that they're still somewhat organized into what can be recognizable as an empire is, well, problematic.
It is. It is. Imagine simply a loud explosion getting their act together.
Or tearing them apart. If the Scarlet Brotherhood or the Black Brotherhood, as I explained, that they also have rumors that they tried to stage a coup in the Tilvanot Peninsula. It's very difficult to get any information on the Scarlet Brotherhood. The fact that we got that piece of information at all is surprising.
So no idea if either of them were successful then.
I suspect they were not. Otherwise, they would have come with larger forces rather than trying to make backroom deals with, hobgoblins and Yuan-Ti. If something so important as an artifact or artifacts of powerful deities is involved, they would have mobilized more resources, I think. But it's very interesting about this ship as well. Where does this gold come from? It came from the south?
It seems so.
Perhaps it could be payments for mercenaries or other things?
So perhaps there is a force being made somewhere. Always something to worry about.
The Pomarch is also known for having large gold deposits. It's probably the only reason why the empire survives at all. So they're moving that gold north. That is worrisome.
So perhaps that should be our angle if we were to focus on the physical here. If we just disrupted their money, then maybe that might disrupt dark plans elsewhere.
You said that
Simply so simple.
I understand that you got your commission from the mayor himself. Is that correct?
Indeed. We had gone to Greyhawk and they had granted us control of this keep and commission to defend the frontier.
Perhaps I would suggest that you pass this information along. I will do the same for my contacts. I have to tell them that, like your friends mentioned in the island, that I'm still alive and, well, kicking, as they say around here. So it would be beneficial to also make those contacts again. I could use some of my learnings, but from there on, I will have to properly present myself to those contacts.
Right. I suppose I got a long letter to write then.
Yes.
And for now, Enjoy your stay here.
But I would suggest that you keep this to people that you trust.
I just like look over to Bearcat and go, "I can trust you with this. I know it."
Yeah, of course. I think
But there's
you might want to coordinate who's actually going to Greyhawk now, right? So you should, go gather.
I suppose I do have to actually
going-
present this information, so I suppose I am in fact off to Greyhawk.
All right, so you should probably tell Marcus and Lael and Gar.
Right. Lale, we're going to Greyhawk.
And he kind of ushers you out. And then
We'll have to talk
immediately
later.
closes the door and looks over to
Ephraim?
to Ikram. Well, now we won't have any further interruption for a while. We have
What do
some
you need
time
of me?
to have our private discussion. And he takes off the whole
Yeah.
thing.
And we're gonna leave it there because we're about
Yeah.
to hit. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
actually expecting a little bit of
It is
romance or
kinda
something to
odd.
hit.
What? Fuck no. Fuck
Well,
off.
you can't start with
I
now that
mean-
we're finally alone together.
I mean,
Okay,
What
he's
a-
been
Mr.
trying to
Begins
get
to
a
play.
He's been trying to get a private conversation with this man for the last 3 weeks. Or whatever. Or 2 weeks or whatever.
But I have to talk
So-
with him incessantly.
Okay, I
But
was
yeah, we're
trying to
gonna
get
leave
away
it
from
there.
this whole time, so
It's time.
Alright, so let's do our wrap up.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let's start with Rectus.
yeah, Gar, total necromancer. I'm on path for Plan B.
I'm scared to see Plan C now.
There's a Plan C. I got
Oh.
plans all the way down. It's turtles all the way down, baby.
He's got plans all the way into Greek letters that don't exist in this universe.
What, you mean like my name on Discord?
Yes.
Then we have Griffin.
Hey, I'm playing Baron Kicks. I believe a hero stands up against all challenges.
Next up, we have Bearcat.
Yep. Bearcat, the Tiefling Bard. Definitely human. Definitely part of the our people humanity deal right there. Yep. 100,000%. He has
Uh,
his most treasured possession, which is his instrument that he's soon going to have conflict with. Gets to finally talk to his fucking mentor after 2 weeks of being stuck with the group. And is not gonna have a good time.
Tiefling Lives Matter. Next up, we have Marcus.
All right, I am Justin. I'm playing Marcus Klein Ollivander, a noble from Greyhawk who has been gone for 5 years and is soon to come back from the dead.
We have our still one, another original one-arm bandit. I mean, monk. Lay.
Yeah, we're probably gonna stay one-armed. As cool as the idea of having a metal hand is, Lael is just kind of on his own, like he always is, until we're needed. So, I'm assuming we're going to Greyhawk. So that's where we're needed.
And I'm your GM. I apologize for the time confusion. Keeping track of time at times is difficult because the Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have included clocks. Which, if it did, it would make it even worse for me anyway. So maybe I should use some clocks from
Calendars are hard.
Yeah, from
No, the problem,
What?
the hard part is if you never reference what day you were talking about before. I talked to the Pando about it a
Everything
lot.
is relative.
I talked to Pando
Yeah.
about it a lot. I talked to Lessons about it a lot, and all I ever say was 5 days ago or 3 days from now. I never, in any conversation, have said what day I was referencing the starting point of.
Yep.
So and I'm also the streamer. Mondays through Fridays on Lessons Learned 1. The 1 is important. And I'm also already released my trailer for my upcoming project on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you just go to YouTube, Lessons Learned. Mass Effect Abridged should be hopefully coming out by the end of this month or the beginning of the next, whichever, whichever I can actually arrange, because it's going to be a doozy. So if you want to check it out, it's the latest video on the channel, YouTube, Lessons Learned.
And of course, come back here Sundays and Wednesdays at 10, 2, and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for some more games. So, until next time, see you, everybody.
Take
Bye.
care.
Yeah.